All right. Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining us today. Just give it 30 more seconds here. We're going to get ourselves going. Amazing. Right. Fantastic. Well, I can't see myself, so let's just hope things are going okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on our Getting Ready for Lakehead webinar series. Tonight is about course registration. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for spending your evening with us. It is very, very cool that you are doing so. I really appreciate it, and so do the experts on tonight's panel. So before we get started here, I do want to acknowledge that Lakehead University respectfully acknowledges its campuses are located on the traditional lands of Indigenous peoples. Lakehead Thunder Bay is located on the traditional lands of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850. Lakehead Aurelia is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. The Anishinaabe includes the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as Three Fires Confederacy. Lakehead University acknowledges the history that many nations hold in the areas around our campuses and is committed to a relationship with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples based on the principles of mutual trust, respect, reciprocity, and collaboration in the spirit of reconciliation. All right, so tonight we are going to be going through some course information info. Now, in saying that, tonight is not an opportunity for you to register for courses. That will happen on Monday, June 17th. So tonight is a little bit of information on how you can go about registering for courses after Monday, the 17th. Tonight, unfortunately, is not about you registering. You're not going to be getting one-on-one instruction on how to register. You are going to be getting instruction on how to go about doing that after Monday, the 17th. So please, as much as we want to help you, we will absolutely help you with anything that you need, but we are unable to do so tonight. So please do not put any personal information in the Q&A or the chat. We are unable to help with specific course questions or specific timetable questions. However, we do want to help you after this evening. So my colleague Kristen is going to put in the chat a inquiry form for you to fill out that will allow you to connect with Student Central. Student Central is the department that will help you with anything that you need regarding course registration. We have a number of experts that will be able to help with anything that you need, but unfortunately we cannot do that tonight. So please, please, please do not put personal information in the chat or Q&A. As much as we are monitoring, we are unable to delete fast enough in some cases. And if you do have very specific questions about your timetable, your course registration, or your course load, we will happily help you after this evening's webinar. So that being said, please use the Q&A function if you have general questions. If you have something that you think may benefit the 100+ people that are on here tonight, I encourage you to ask those questions. We also have the chat feature. However, we are a little bit, it is easier for us to monitor the Q&A. So we do ask that you use that if you have any specific questions and everything tonight that we can help with in the general vicinity of a webinar. Sounds good. Love that. Love that. Thank you so much, Kristen, for posting that. My name is Rebecca. I am a recruitment and admissions advisor for Lakehead. I have been in recruitment for a number of years now, and this is my bread and butter. I love doing this stuff. So please bear with us, and I hope you have some fun tonight. With me tonight is the lovely Kristen, who works in Student Central and will be able to help with some of the nitty-gritty after this evening, as well as presenting as she is the expert. We also have Jack, also a Student Central professional, who will be able to answer some questions as well. And then after this evening, get into the more specific as we continue through the week and into registration starting on Mondays. All right. So without further ado, I will ask Kristen to begin the course registration information session, and hopefully we get some questions answered and a little bit more information provided for you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. I'll take it from here. If you don't mind, next slide, if you can cue. Just for all of you folks joining us tonight, thanks so much. As Rebecca has mentioned, course registration for first year students will open on Monday, June 17th at midnight. So please make sure you have your pre-registration builders all ready to go, and we'll talk to you about what that all means. So you probably have a lot of questions. It's different than high school, perhaps different than a college setting. You get to pick your own classes. And so you probably have questions about how do you choose them? How do you know what you're supposed to take for your program? How do you know what your schedule is going to look like? What's the typical amount of courses I take in my program? And last but not least, how do you actually register for those courses? So, becoming a university student, we kind of talk in a different language. We have a bit of lingo that we like to use that I want to familiarize you with tonight. So, with regards to courses, courses are often referred to as FCEs, which stands for full course equivalent. And so in order to achieve one FCE, you must either take a full year course that typically spans from September until April, or 2 half credits or half courses. And those take place within one term, our fall term, which will start in September and run through December, or our winter term, which starts in January and runs through April. In terms of credit, Lakehead University uses half credits and full credits when we decipher the weight. And so this is the measurement of your courses. And so half credits, like I said, will either take place in the fall or the winter term. And a full credit will be a full year length. And that's how it's displayed, and that's how it's weighted on your transcript or your academic record. And then elective. So as a student, you'll have requirement courses or mandatory courses, compulsory courses as part of your major, as part of your program. And then you'll also have electives. And these are your opportunities to maybe take something outside of your major. These are your selections. And then depending on what your program requirements are, they might be from a list of maybe certain areas that you need to take these electives, or perhaps from a certain discipline or faculty. So in terms of deciphering what your course load may look like, you can study either part-time or full-time. Overall, generally, except for our lucky engineering students, most students take 5 courses per year. And so part-time students are those who are taking 3.5 or less during the fall winter terms. Those folks are paying per course. They don't pay a flat fee, they pay per course. And then our full-time folks are those who are registered for 4 full credits and above. So our full-time folks, you have an ability to choose whether you want to take 4, 4.5, or 5, but you're going to be charged a flat full-time fee. In terms of prerequisites, these are courses that are required to have in place before taking the class. And so you need to take these ahead of time. And depending on how you do in that course will be a way to determine if you are able to take the courses moving forward. As most first-year students, your 1,000-year courses designated with a 1 at the beginning of the course code are going to be, or 0 for that matter, are going to be more introductory in level, and they will be kind of your building blocks or your foundation for your academics. We also have co-requisites, and those are typically when a student has a course that they need to take in conjunction with a designated course, or prior to, or perhaps at the same time. So some of our professional programs like nursing, perhaps engineering, students need to take courses together as part of their program requirements. right, so this is a really useful slide, and I'm going to give you some really useful tips about how to understand whether it's a full credit, half credit, what year level, and what subject area it's coming from. So, Psych 1100, YA. The first little bit tells you which department it is from. Psych, short form for psychology. That is usually a 4-digit character code that deciphers what department that class is from. Now, the next portion of a course code is your course number. So as I had mentioned, the first digit, those 1000s or 0 level courses are introductory in nature. And that first digit lets you know what year level the class is at. And then a little sneaky tidbit of advice to decipher whether a course is a half credit or a full credit. Using the third digit in the course code will indicate if the class is full or half. So if the third digit is even, it's a full year course. If the third digit is odd, it's a half credit. So Psych 1100, the third digit is a 0. We consider that an even number. And so that means it's a full year course. And then the next part, which usually is comprised of alphabetical letters, YA, that tells you the section. So the first letter lets you know which term it's being offered in. So YA designates year long. You might see FA, you might see WA, you might see SA or AA. Those are all letting us know what term the course is being offered. And then the second letter, so YA, letter A, lets us know that maybe there may be multiple sections of that same class. For example, Psych 1100 might be offered in sections YA, YB, and YC. That means that there perhaps might be 3 different instructors, and those different sections are designated by the different letters of the alphabet. So just a little legend on the bottom there. F is the first letter that will designate the term. So we use F for fall, W for winter, Y for year long, S for summer, and A for spring, essentially because we can't have 2 S's. So moving along. All right, so most of you are pretty familiar with My Info or My Services. That's likely how you accepted your offer. That's likely how you paid your $200 confirmation deposit. The next step after you've done the deposit and accepted your offer will likely lead you to a student tab. So within that student tab, you're going to have another kind of chunk of information available to you, and it will be under course registration. And that's where we're going to be kind of focusing the next little bit of our conversation tonight about important tabs that you need to access for course registration. One of those areas is going to be Build My Pre-Registration. And Build My Pre-Registration is going to be essentially where you're going to build your timetable, set it all up with the classes you potentially want to take, where you can kind of mock up a schedule, see what fits and what works. And then when registration opens on the 17th, you'll be able to simply click register now and simply register for that carved out schedule you made. The other piece that we're going to talk about next is the academic calendar. And so I like to say it's kind of like the academic Bible, if you will, of what you're going to be taking from start to finish in your program. So the academic calendar or course calendar is no longer in print format. It is only online, and it's accessible through our Lakehead homepage, lakeheadu.ca. And if you go to our homepage, just simply go to the very bottom of the homepage. On the left-hand side, you'll find a whole bunch of quick links. One of those will be academic calendar. Once you jump in there, you'll be brought to a page that looks exactly like this. And from there, you're going to click on programs and faculties to find out what courses you are to take in your program or faculty. And this slide's giving us a little bit of a glitch. There we are. Thank you very much. So this is a more in-depth look at what you would normally see under your program requirements. So I just want to kind of give you maybe a trail map of how we got here. So we went under programs and faculties, And after we get into programs and faculties, you'll see all of the different options we offer within the faculties. And this program that we're going to be focusing on tonight, an honors BA or Bachelor of Arts English major, falls under our Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities. So we have quite a few faculties. It may be tricky for you to find out which one you belong to, but it's not going to break anything. I encourage you to click away. But once we jump into your faculty of choice, you are going to be looking at undergraduate programs. And for those of you, this is some more Lakehead University lingo. As a starting university student, you are studying an undergraduate program, which is essentially the beginnings of your academic career at the university level. And I think Alexandra has a question here. Alexander says, and I don't know if I can see it. Chat away here. Perhaps if you can put it in the Q&A here. Okay. All right. I'm gonna just pause here for a second because I see we have a few questions and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. For pre-registration planning, why are there no daytime sections available for some courses to add? So I'm sure Jack, my colleague, will talk to you a little bit about the different deliveries of courses we offer. We offer courses that are in person or lecture style, online or independent study, and then we also offer Zoom-based classes. So some of those online classes may not have a specific date and time that you have to attend. So we'll jump into that in the next little bit. In terms of, I don't have a student tab under applicants. So if you don't have a student tab, you need to accept your offer. You need to pay your confirmation deposit. And if that all fails within 24 hours of time, give Student Central a call and our number is there and we can help navigate that for you. In terms of exact date of registration for undergraduate students, like I said, Monday, June 17th, midnight, mark your calendars. If you are entering first year of the B.Ed consecutive program, no, you are not going to register. Our B.Ed students will register in mid-July. I believe it's July 15th, but I'll get back to you on those dates. So you will not be able to register as of June 17th. You have a very specific set of courses that you're taking that no other students will have access to, and you won't register till mid-July. If you're given the one where students said tab pre-registration, I'm not sure to find. Okay, so Jack's on that. I was given a conditional offer. I just finished my prerequisites. Do I have to wait? No. So if you've been conditionally admitted, you can definitely accept your offer, pay your confirmation deposit, and then in your offer letter, you should have been given a certain date to provide our Office of Undergraduate Admissions completion of your conditions. And so that normally will require a final official transcript of whatever courses you're working on, but you can definitely register for classes and set up your timetable while you're working on, those particular prerequisites to get into your program. So I have pre-planned my courses, but I will be at Lakehead Georgian. I cannot figure out how to add those courses. So Georgian students, if you have a partnership program, you register for classes through the Lakehead portals. That's a very good question. You do not go through any Georgian portals for registration. You use the Lakehead system. So there should be those courses. You just might need to search them based on campus. So try to use campus as a filter that my colleague Jack will likely talk about. And then the last question before I go back to my presentation is, where do I start my pre-registration planning at all? Is it in my info? Absolutely, it's in my info under your student tab. All right, I'm going to go back to my presentations. So with regards to academic calendar or course calendar, we were talking about programs and faculties. So the faculty I'm focusing on is social sciences and humanities. If you are a concurrent ed student, I know you may be kind of straddling two faculties, Faculty of Education and maybe the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities. Those folks are actually going to go under education as their faculty. They're going to go under undergraduate studies in education, and then they're going to find their whole kit and caboodle of their program, both their undergrad program and their education courses. So Just an FYI to our concurrent ed students. So with regards to the academic calendar, you're going to see the whole spectrum of program requirements from year 1 to year 4, 5, 6, whatever duration your program is. But for tonight's purposes, we likely will just be focusing on your first year requirements. So as you can see, in first year here, it outlines all the classes this student is supposed to take as an honors BA English major. They need to take English 11-15. They need to take one additional half course in English at the first year level. So my recommendation right off the hop, but it's up to you. You might want to select English 11-15 in one term and the other half course English at the first year level in the other term. And this is a good opportunity for me to stop and just tell everybody that at Lakehead, we register for the whole academic year. We don't just register for the upcoming fall term. We register for both the fall and the winter terms. So we plan out both timetables. And the reason that we do that is that it, number one, ensures you that you're in the classes you need to be in for both terms. It sets up your schedule so you have more of a routine, you're understanding what your expectations are, and then it reserves classes so that there's availability for you ahead of time. So we register for both terms. So with that pre-registration planning, you're not just going to do the fall term, you're also going to do the winter term. So going back to first year requirements, it says Part C, 1 FCE. So that's that Lakehead lingo for full credit equivalent from Type A courses. So as a social sciences student, perhaps maybe even as a science student, Type A courses are considered to be humanities. And the nice piece is that if you clicked on that little link, it will hot link you or hyperlink you to all of the courses that are considered to be a Type A course. Part D, it says 2 FCEs, so 2 full credit equivalents, so 2 full credits or maybe 4 half credits, whatever combination to make up those 2 full credits from Type B courses. Type B courses are social sciences. And again, if you clicked on the hyperlink, you'd see all the subject areas that fall under Type B. And then that Part E says 1 FCE elective. So that's that elective stuff I was talking about. This is an opportunity for you to explore subject areas that may not be part of your major. So I always advise students that when they are selecting a elective, choose something that, you know, is an area of interest, perhaps something that's fun and different from your major. It's a way for you to kind of explore your university experience. So use those as a way to break away from your regular requirements of your program. Moving along. All right, I think I'm going to pause there, and perhaps I'm going to answer maybe a few questions in the chat before we proceed to pre-registration builder. Rebecca, is there anything you want to pop in and add?
Yes, I'll actually ask you a few questions if that's okay, with a lot of the common questions that we've been getting in our Q&A. First off, I do want to point out that for those Lakehead Georgian students that are on here, you will register for Lakehead courses starting next week. However, Georgian College course registration does not open until mid-August. So you will be registered in Georgian's courses, but their timetable is not released until a month prior to school start. So I know there's some panic around, I can't get Georgian, it's grayed out, how do I do this? By registering for Lakehead Georgian courses next week, you are in the Georgian courses. You will have a seat on Georgian campus for your first 2 or your full 4 years. However, you will not know your actual schedule until mid-August. So no panics about that. If you have specific questions about Lakehead Georgian, I was with the partnership for a little while and I do know the ins and outs of Georgian College, so you can always contact me directly. But that's on that. Next, Kristen, can you specify one more time what someone should do if they don't have a student tab on their left in my info, please and thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Rebecca, for that Georgian information. That was really great. Okay, so in terms of if you don't have your student tab yet, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. So likely the 2 reasons why that doesn't appear there is number 1, you may have not accepted your offer. And I will tell you, you know, honest and forefront here, some students, even when they accept their offer through the Ontario University Application Center or UAC, Sometimes their offer doesn't translate over to their Lakehead side. So don't panic. Maybe just to cover all bases, accept your offer on UAC and also accept your offer under My Applications in your Lakehead My Info My Services tab. So do it twice, do it in both spots. The other piece that that may be prohibiting you from that student tab is that you haven't paid your $200 confirmation deposit. And so once you've accepted your offer under your Lakehead My Services account, you will be able to go under My Applications, and under admission, you'll be able to choose Pay My Confirmation Deposit. It's a $200 deposit. I am going to say something here as well. If there are issues, because they're computers and it's a system, and sometimes depending on how in use the system is, some glitches can occur. If for some reason you don't have a Pay My Confirmation Deposit tab, and I'm giving you worst case scenario, you should have it, but sometimes students have reported to me that they get a glitch, like they, for some reason, don't have the ability to proceed with Pay My Confirmation Deposit. Simple solution, number one, is to just add Lakehead University as a payee in your banking information with your student number, and you can transfer money, your $200 to Lakehead under that student number. Option number two is you could contact our accounts number, our accounts office. I'll give you their phone number. You can talk to someone over the phone and pay your $200 confirmation deposit over the telephone. Or number three, there's another option in your student tab that will be under your student finance tab, and you can pay via Visa debit. You can put $200 as a deposit there. So those are three ways to navigate. Goodness forbid that you can't proceed with paying your confirmation deposit.
And you can also reach out to Student Central directly through the inquiry that Kristen did put in the chat. So if everything is not, you've done everything and it's still not super peachy keen, please reach out. We can certainly help you with that. As I said, not tonight, but we can certainly help you going forward. Now, Kristen, we do have a few questions specifically about engineering. Do you happen to know the date for engineering course registration? Or Jack, maybe?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk a little bit about engineering. Engineering students, if they are part of our post-diploma, so if we're talking to students here tonight that maybe are from, a college diploma program, a technologist diploma, they're doing your transition courses starting next week, you will be able to register as of June 24th. That's the following Monday. So not June 27th or June 17th, it's June 24th, because technically you're going to be in our records as a third or fourth year student. So you should have been able to register for your spring summer transition courses, no problem. That should be open to you. But because you are technically at a higher year level, our second, third, fourth year students will be able to register as of June 24th. So that's not next Monday, it's the Monday to follow.
Amazing. Thank you so much. June 24th at midnight, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Amazing. Okay. And another question that we're getting quite often in here is, how does one person get to the screen that we're currently on? So can you just walk us through, like we've typed in lakeheadu.ca, we're on our main page. Can you navigate
Yeah.
us through that, please?
For sure. So if you want to get into build my pre-registration, you can go. So as I had mentioned with the academic calendar, lakeheadu.ca on the homepage, it looks different when you're on your phone. So just as an FYI, it looks different on your phone. If you are on a computer, which is the way that I'm going to direct you to tonight, if you were on a computer, you would go to the very bottom of our homepage, lakeheadu.ca, and there will be a whole bunch of quick links on the left-hand side of that page. Under academic calendar, there should be a My Info tab. Click on that My Info tab, log in with your Lakehead credentials, a username and password, and you should be able to access your student tab if you've done your acceptance and paid your confirmation deposit. Once you're in your student tab, there should be a column in the middle that says build my pre-registration And you can click right on that and it will link you to this screen here that we're showing right now, which it says search for courses and course sections.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. We do have quite a bit in here regarding the student tab. So, as mentioned, Kristen did explain this a few times now, and we're also recording this session. So, and we will put this up on YouTube if there's still some concerns. But again, please feel free to reach out to us using that inquiry form that Kristen put in the chat earlier today, and we can certainly help you with that at some point soon, I'm sure. And then Kristen, how long does registration stay open after it opens on the 17th or the 24th or the
That's a
15th?
great question. So once it's open, it's open. Essentially, there will be a final date to add courses. And so those are all under the important dates in the academic calendar. But kind of a rule of thumb, without having that date right handy, typically it's into the second week of classes that you'll be able to register. So you don't want to wait until the second week of classes because obviously courses will fill up. You're not going to have your first dibs on what you want to take. That's why we're saying register early. But you definitely have some time. June all the way to mid-September, you'll be able to register for those fall term courses and year-long courses for that matter. In terms of winter registration, those are courses that start in January and go to April. That registration will stay open. It's open as of, June 17th, but it will stay open all the way till the second week of January 2025. So you do have quite a bit of time, but I, again, would not wait until January to register for your winter term. Plan out your fall and your winter terms so that you know what your schedule looks like and you guarantee yourself in those classes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We also have a few questions here regarding one, this current screen. So again, my info on the lakeheadu.ca website, and a few questions regarding the course calendars and academic calendars. So I just want to point out that if you are on lakeheadu.ca and you go under programs, undergraduate program, you pick the program that you're interested in, you've applied to, that you've accepted. Along the right-hand side on your computer, there is a list of degrees and in that certain program. So let's say you're going into English, you choose Honors Bachelor of English, that blue highlight on the right side of the screen. If you click on that, it'll immediately take you to the academic calendar where you can see the courses that you're required to take for years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100, however many years you'd like to be in school. So have some fun with lakeheadu.ca. I promise you can't break it. You'll be able to see specific programs, faculties, some example timetables of previous years. You can even, and that search bar at the top of the lakeheadu.ca website is super helpful. Just type in the words academic calendar. It'll pull right up in that search bar for you, and you'll be able to navigate to the screen that you're currently looking at in some capacity through a few more extra clicks. So I know this can be overwhelming, and I know this can be a lot. As Kristen said, this is something that you have to do kind of on your own. This is a little bit of an entrance into becoming your own student, and we are here to help you, but there's a lot that you can learn and a lot that you can do at lakeheadu.ca, and you'll have some fun with it. Just enjoy the different programs that, like, what's in a type B elective, and just look into it. See, I might like anthropology. I might like a math course. I don't know who would like a math course, not me, but maybe people do. I don't know. All right, so we will continue with this presentation. Thank you so much, Kristen. Now I am going to introduce Jack, who will be going into some of the pre-registration and hopefully clarify a little bit more about the course calendars and how we go through that. So Jack, take it away.
Could you go back one more slide, please? There we go. So this is what the main page for pre-registration planning looks like. So there's a catalog search that you see on the screen, but just for your screen as well, there is a search bar in the top right-hand corner. Both will get you to what you want to find for courses. But in general, my personal preference is I use the calendar search if I'm looking for a specific type requirement or I have no idea what course I want to take. That is very handy to search that way to find the courses that you may want to take. Again, you have to be very specific when you search through the calendar. You have to make sure that you don't essentially click everything because it's not going to populate a lot of information for you. So with the example here, and there is more questions that it asks you in the calendar search, I generally select the term that I want to have a course in, whether it be a year-long, fall term, or winter term course. If I know the subject, that's great. If you have no idea, I wouldn't add anything in there. Days of the week, I wouldn't even select a day because you just don't have the luxury of when a certain course is going to fall on. So it's going to really limitate your search going forward. You're also going to have locations. So you got to be specific about what location for Lakehead University you're going to be on. So whether it's Thunder Bay, Aurelia, or Barrie, or even online delivery is what you're looking for, you got to search by that or if you don't, other campuses are going to populate and it's going to make it more confusing for you when you're searching up courses. You're also going to have to pick what academic level you're at. So whether you're an undergrad, graduate student, that's going to populate the courses that you're going to look for. So whether it be graduate level courses or undergraduate courses, you're going to want to make the distinction again, so you're not sifting through a bunch of courses. It's also going to give you an option, which is not on the screen before you, of times a day. I would also treat that like days of the week. Don't even touch it because it's really going to limit your search. And at the very bottom, if you're following along or are on this screen, you will see the option to search by types of courses. I honestly like to look at that the most because there generally are a lot of type requirements. So if I'm looking at anything, I'll select a term, fill in the location and my academic level, and then I'll search by type, whether it's humanities, social sciences, science, behavioral science, Indigenous content courses. So I can actually look through the different courses that fall under that category, because it's not just going to populate a certain subject, but it's going to populate every subject that is categorized under there. Okay. So it's important to look through that as well. Again, I'm only really using the catalog search if I don't know what I want to take, like for an elective, or I have a type requirement and I don't know what falls under that type. It's going to populate everything for you. Okay. The other thing in this page that is not on the screen is the search bar. Again, very commonly used. If you search a course in the search bar, it's because you know the course code. So you know it's business 1036, for example. You can search that, make sure you have a space between the subject and the number so that populates the right course for you. You'll do the same if it's like a lab. You'll just put an L on the end on the number. Very simple to search because sometimes you can search like biology 1050, but it won't populate 1050L for you to find your lab. So make sure you do that. Other than that, the search bar is a little bit different when it comes to registering for courses. There's often times when you find the search and you find the course that you were looking for in the search bar, it will have two options for you to click. One will be in the right-hand corner of the course and will say add course to plan. Do not click that button. I know it sounds redundant because it just makes so much sense to click it. But when you choose that in the top right corner of the course, it doesn't allow you to select a term. So when you're searching in the search bar and you find your course, there's going to be a gray tab along the bottom of that course that says view available sections for whatever course you searched. That's going to pop down all the number of sections that are available for that course. So whether it's fall, winter, year long, however many other sections, it could be different campuses. That's how you will find it. If you click the add section to plan button right off the beginning, it won't let you find a term. So keep that in mind when you are doing either search. So when you get to here, this is classically what the catalog search looks like. Again, it's going to populate all the courses. So if you don't refine it very well and you don't select a term, it's going to populate winter and fall together. Same with year-long courses. There are also filter results on the left-hand side of the page, which will show you different things you can filter your search with. So on the main catalog page, you can't do specific year level. In this, if you scroll down enough, you can see the year level. So you can select year 1, 2, 3, 4, however you want. You can also select off different type courses. Another good one, if you're adding courses late, is to select the availability one that you can see on our screen to be open sections only. So it's not populating courses that are either closed or waitlisted. So that's a very handy dandy feature. Again, you will see what it on the screen here. When you see it on the right hand side, there will be a blue add button, which is very easy to use when you do the catalog search because it's not as confusing as a search bar. You can just click add course to whichever one you're looking for and then reaffirm it by clicking it one more time. Make sure you check times a day and everything like that because as you're trying to add and plan things, it's important to really see what you're adding or you have a lot more work to do to figure out times a little bit later. So when you get to pre-registration builder, so this is like the section that I would call is the register for classes page. So this is the part 2 of pre-registration. Everything that you add in pre-registration is going to show up in a calendar for its own semester. So there's going to be one for fall, there's going to be one for year-long courses, there's going to be one for winter. The general complaint I get is why don't my year-long courses show up in winter or fall? It has its own separate section when they created it, so that's how it works. But you will be able to see if you have a conflict with it. So generally, when you look at this and everything's added, you will see everything show up in usually a gray, not a gray, but a beige color. That means it's planned. If something shows up in green, like it does on the screen, it will be confirmed that you're registered for it. If something shows up in red, that's either a waitlisted course or a time conflict. When it's a time conflict, you need to find a solution to move another class somewhere else. My general rule of thumb for this is that I keep my mandatory courses. So oftentimes when you look in the academic calendar, it is the courses that are generally listed. So it tells you like biology 1050. If it's an elective, you can probably find a different space to put it in, or you need to find a new elective because you want to make sure that your mandatory courses are covered when you're trying to register. Other times that you will receive errors within trying to actually register the course is when you try to register a lab and a lecture. It will not let you do them separately. You do have to click a register now button, which will be in the top right hand corner of the screen. It will do the whole term for you in one go. So every course that you have planned in your term, it will do the whole page. If you don't do that, you will keep getting errors with courses that have labs attached to them because the error message will say labs need to be registered at the same time as the lecture, and that's the only way to do it is to click the register now button. Anything that doesn't have a register now button, you can select on the side where the course will show. You can just hit register on that. Easy enough. And when you hit register, it will show up as a drop button afterwards. So it's pretty easy to just drop and add courses like that. And it will reconfirm with you if you want to drop a course, it will show up there. Okay. Other conflicts, like errors that I see quite often, is if you owe money into accounts, they will block your account from registering. That's a common one that pops up. If anything's waitlisted, it will also show up in red in the top right-hand corner that you need to get on the wait list, or you should be on the wait list, and the course won't register until you come off the wait list. When you are on a wait list, you will be there until the instructor or the chair sends you an email saying that you're now off the wait list. You can register for the course, which the button will turn to a register button instead of a waitlist button. And at that time, you will be notified that you have 72 hours to register for this course. If you don't register for this course in that amount of time, your spot will go to somebody else. So you will essentially go to the bottom of the wait list again. So keep that in mind. Generally, my rule of thumb for the wait list is if you see a course and there's over 10 people, that's a very unlikely chance that you will probably get into that course. But if you see under 5, and especially if the available class size is much bigger, you have a lot of chance to get in there because people will drop and choose, especially over the summer. They'll swap things around a lot. So don't worry if it's on a wait list. It will probably change very close to September. And keep in mind that not every program is perfect. Sometimes they miscount the number of enrolled students, so they keep their class sizes lower. So sometimes those will go up eventually as well. But that's generally what happens on with this page. It's pretty easy to navigate and it shows you where things end up. Most of the complaints that I might see is that courses are going back to back. Oftentimes that's usually from what the program is doing when they schedule. So they will schedule them sometimes back to back, depending on professor availability. Not to worry there, you do have enough time to go from one class to the other. There is usually a 10-minute forgiveness period when you're going from one class to the other. So even if one starts at or ends at 1 and starts at 1, you'll still be able to make the class. It's not like you'll be locked out or anything. So that's a general one that happens. But other than that, that's essentially how the pre-registration builder works. It can be quite complicated if you're constantly getting conflicts or errors, and usually those are sometimes due in part to the program not scheduling them the right way. So if that is the case, when you reach out to Student Central, you'll want to connect with your program to let them know, hey, you have these 2 mandatory courses overlapping. I need to take them both. What's going on? There is no other sections. That is a very appropriate email to send. Others are sometimes that courses aren't offered that said they should be. So sometimes you have to reach out at why is it not offered? What's going on? Those are sometimes issues that students run into. If anybody's doing visual arts for say this year, I don't know if it's been communicated yet, but the visual arts 1090 is a course that's required on the calendar, but it's not being offered, and that's going to be substituted by visual arts 1012. So keep that in mind as well. And all this information you can reach out about to the Student Central Inquiry page as well. But yeah, that's everything to do with pre-registration builder.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Jack, do you want to just go through this slide to give them a little bit of a roundabout of what they should do? Please and thank you.
Yeah, so reviewing and understanding your offer of admissions. So knowing your deadline dates, for some of you, for your program, a lot of them were in June and July. So if you haven't paid attention to that, that might be why you're having some trouble with the student tab not opening up. So keep that in mind when you're trying to look through. Finalize the admission process in general. If you haven't accepted an offer or paid a confirmation deposit, please do so. Otherwise, you will not be made ELI to have that student tab to be able to get into my services. Check out my info for announcements. So generally on that page, you can see announcement that Lakehead is putting out. Lakehead will also send you emails about certain dates and times that are coming up that are pretty important. So like drop dates, add dates, anything over the summer about orientation, that will always happen. And if you haven't visited a campus yet and haven't necessarily had the time to do it, there are virtual tours that can be found on the recruitment website and generally on the Lakehead website as well. Once the course calendar and course timetables are posted, plan your schedule, which they already have. That happened on June 3rd. Again, for anybody that's first year, you'll be able to plan your courses right now. Anybody that's second year or higher probably hasn't been made ELI very as of yet, and they will probably be made ELI to be able to plan the Friday before the Monday that they're eligible to register. So you still will have 3 days to plan out your courses, figure out your timetable, and see where you can fit things where they are. And then, yeah, you'll be registered on the day, and that will be as of 12:01 a.m. on the day of each of those Mondays. It's not as ideal as years before, but again, being able to pre-plan a few days ahead of time, you might just want to stay up a little bit, click on the button, and then go back to bed, easy enough. But that's why we have the pre-planning so that you can set everything up the way you want it to be set up.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jack. If it's all right with you, we'll go through a few of the questions in here that we have. One of our questions is, you had mentioned, let me see if it's still in here. Maybe it's not. All right. Let's see. Is there a limit on how many times a student can change classes, minors, majors, all of that stuff?
There's not a limit to it. So when we talk about classes, obviously you can register and drop them as you so please when you're trying to work within the dates of add and drop dates. When it comes to programs, minors, anything like that, there is no technical limit. You will be limited to what you can program change to. Like obviously a student that is not in the faculty of engineering or nursing cannot just change their program to engineering or nursing. They have to reapply for those programs. But anybody like in social sciences or science, as long as you meet the prereqs, so those high school prerequisites to get into the program, you can switch over. Now, I will tell you it's not as easy as being in, like, for example, a third year humanities program and then switching to a science program. Your courses may not slide over into the degree audit as easy, so you have to watch out for it. I say general rule of thumb, if you're trying to make changes and figure out what you want to do, year one is the year to do it. You can pay for those program changes. They do cost $50 to do. But at any point you can choose to do as many program changes as you want. Sometimes they will have pauses throughout the year, just to make sure that everybody's in a program the way they are around certain reporting times of the year. But yeah, generally you can.
Amazing. And Jack, can you quickly explain FastPass to everyone and the benefit of going to a FastPass session?
Yeah, so FastPass, although not offered this week, but I start doing them on June 17th, and you'll be able to see them on the FastPass page on the main Lakehead website. You'll see how many webinars I'm doing, which is quite frequent, usually twice a day. And essentially what I do is kind of like this presentation here, but I go live and I use the website and I show you how to navigate and how to use it and how to do the pre-registration building, and give you some examples of error codes and things like that. A more live perspective where you can probably dive a little bit deep and we can get more specific about your own program and go from there, since there's so many of them to do. So it's a real benefit if, you are trying to follow through here and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll walk you through it essentially. So it's a great benefit to most students. It's just unfortunate not to be able to hold it before June 17th this year. Better for second, third, and fourth year students, but I can help on the day of if you're having struggles.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now I will address a few questions that we do have in the chat, and then I will continue with the presentation, allowing Jack and Kristen some more time to answer questions in the Q&A. One, I will mention again, Lakehead Georgian students, you are able to register for your Lakehead courses, and that does include the Georgian courses as well. However, Georgian's timetable does not open until mid-August. So on June 17th, LUGC students, please register for your courses as we have explained how to do today, and that will put you in the Georgian courses. However, the Georgian specific timetable does not come out until August. So you will be put in that class, but you will not be able to see what day it's happening until the middle of August. So any more specific questions about that, I'd be happy to answer that. You can certainly reach out and we can take care of that. Now, we also have some people here who are still struggling with the student tab. And again, please reach out the inquiry card, or Kristen did explain a couple times how to hopefully get that student tab to come up. So please, let's take some steps to see if we can get it there. And then if not, please reach out to Student Central. We can certainly help you to get that in there. Now, what was my other question? And then anything specific to do with specific courses or specific program codes, again, we can help you with that using the inquiry page as well, the form that you can fill out, and we'll certainly help you with that. But I will continue with the presentation here, and I'll let Jack and Kristen get to typing. We do have a few questions in there, but hopefully we can answer some of those before the end of our session tonight. Now, we all have questions. I know we're getting there. We promise. So next steps after today, just a few important dates that you may need to take note of. Our entrance bursaries deadline is June 30th. And then as you can see on the screen here, August 15th is the magical day to get everything in. So you will need to pay for residence and you will need to pay for some sort of tuition. Now, I know that's going to spark some uproar about, oh, I'm an OSAP student. We do have some solutions for you online if you're interested. We also have a finance and fees webinar that we hosted last week that can help with the payment portion of this. So if you have specific questions about payment, money, OSAP, tuition, absolutely reach out. Or we do have the previous webinars up that will be Lakehead University Getting Ready on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, search in Lakehead University Getting Ready, and you will be able to pull up our previous Getting Ready webinar sessions that have everything to do with getting you ready for September. That is what we're here for. That is why we're doing this. So please check those out if you do have specific questions. August 29th is move-in day. How exciting is that? It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. The buzz around campus is fantastic on move-in day. And then first day of classes starts Tuesday after Labor Day. So make sure you're here and ready for that. If you haven't already, we do recommend you see the campus. I know it's not easy if you're maybe in the GTA going to Thunder Bay, or if you're in Ottawa and you want to come to Aurelia. I know that is a distance. So you can also see the tour online. We do have a virtual option at lakeheadu.ca. But if you can come to see the campus, why wouldn't you? It is beautiful. Both spaces are fantastic, amazing, and super cool. So please check those out if you have the opportunity to do so. Our tours are at lakeheadu.ca/tours. You fill out a small form and we'll get you set up on a date and time that works best for you. Again, we're a very social group. And by that, I mean we have a lot of social media. So check us out, follow us, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, the TikToks, all of that. Please follow, have some fun. Watch us be goofballs in some cases. Some of us are really, really good at it. So you're welcome for that. Amazing. Now, this is the technical end of the presentation portion. Now, I know we still have a number of questions in the chat, so we will make sure we answer those before everybody leaves for the day, but don't let this be the last time we speak. Let's have some fun. Let's talk. Let's chat. Absolutely. Please reach out to us and you can certainly get your questions answered if you have any after today. Tomorrow morning, you think of something, please reach out. You can reach Jack and Kristen at studentcentral@lakeheadu.ca or follow that inquiry form that we've put in. That is a much more efficient way to get your question answered. If you have specific questions about programs, campuses, anything like that, you can reach myself or the recruitment team at recruit@lakeheadu.ca. We can certainly help. I will say though, asterisk beside that is once you have registered and once you are a technical student of Lakehead, there isn't much that myself and the recruitment team can help with in regards to getting yourself set up for September. But if there's general questions about tours or anything like that, I absolutely will be happy to help you to get anything that you need figured out. So in saying that, let's see what other questions we have here.
Rebecca, I just
All
wanted
right.
to jump in here, Rebecca. Jack, what was the replacement course for visual arts again?
The replacement course is Visual Arts 1012 from what's been referred to us. So yeah, 1090 is not being offered, and I believe it's just specifically for this year. So Visual Arts has come up with an alternative course for them to take. It should be sent out to visual arts students, but if they haven't done it yet, that's the course that will be used.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to go back quickly to the slide that Kristen explained the course codes, because we do have some specific questions about course codes. So I will pull up that slide really quick so we can get a visual reference of the letters, the numbers, all that cool fun stuff. And I also see here the email that you're going to reach out to is the inquiry form that's in the chat. That will allow you to get specific and very accurate answers about anything to do with tonight's information. So please reach out to the inquiry form that's in the chat, and I'm happy to repost that after we're finished with some questions here. Amazing. All right. There's a question here about the entrance bursary. That is for our direct from high school students. So that means that you're applying to the program prior to the deadline in July, which allows you to be automatically entered into that scholarship. So mostly just make sure that you've applied and accepted your offer before the middle of July to ensure that you're getting that entrance scholarship. And if you don't know what that is, then I can happily explain that to you at another time. All right, perfect. The inquiry page is not working. Well, that's inconvenient. We will make sure to fix that before tomorrow. I promise. Awesome. Okay. Just buzzing through these questions. Amazing. All right. Move-in day, due dates for fees. Move-in day for Georgian, I believe is the same, but that is a Georgian residence question specifically. So georgiancollege.ca. The residence information will be on that page for you there. And then fees for Lakehead Georgian students are going all to Lakehead. So please be mindful that you're going to be paying Lakehead for all your tuition and ancillary fees. Georgian should not receive any of your funds specifically from you regarding your tuition and anything like that. In terms of books, so one of the cool things, actually, I might get Kristen or Jack to explain this regarding what happens when you're looking at books and things like that.
For books, so generally when you're gonna add all of these courses into your registration and you actually hit register, there is a textbook tab under the registration and timetable, or it might be under program of study, one or the other. It will tell you from the courses that you've registered in what the required book list is. Now you can choose to purchase those books from the Lakehead bookstore, or you can choose to find them however you would like to find them. I believe on our side of things, it will tell you how much it will cost within the bookstore. But they will populate. Sometimes it's not right away because maybe the course has not selected what books they're trying to use for the course, but you will be able to see it probably in July.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. How many courses per semester for engineering? I'll let one of the two of you answer that. I think it's 6, but don't quote me.
I believe it's 7.
It's close.
So engineering students take a heavier load.
Amazing. Okay. All right. All right. We do have some very specific questions on here, so we will get to those if you reach out to
Rebecca, I'm happy to answer if you
Yes.
want to read them out.
Okay, perfect. An online student, there aren't many courses available, about 10 for first year. I guess that depends on the program if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah, so online courses, my advice would be when you go into the pre-registration planner, make sure that when you're searching the courses specifically, that you search based on the filter of that you want them online. Then it will just give you only online sections. And so, yeah, if you go under the pre-registration, you choose course type, sorry, not course type, you're going to choose location and you're going to say online delivery. If you choose online delivery, you'll get a more succinct list and you won't have to search through. You might have to choose which term, but I would choose the type of delivery.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of is there a provision for disability? I need to be registered for full-time. So full-time studies, Lakehead definition is 4 full credits and above. 3.5 and below is part-time, and that's how you're charged. However, OSAP has different qualifications. So if you're a student with a disability and have a recognized disability, whether it's permanent, persistent, or prolonged, through OSAP, you can actually only take 2 courses per term and still receive full-time funding for OSAP. So it's a little bit of a different equation, though what Lakehead characterizes as full-time versus part-time. What is meant by add drop course? So adding meaning that you want to keep it, dropping meaning you're going to say goodbye. Just to keep in mind too, and I think Rebecca's already said it, is that nothing's set in stone. You can really make changes to your schedule pretty much into the second week of classes. Is that advisable? Probably not, but just know that even if you tinker around and fool around with it and have some fun, nothing is permanent. You can definitely make changes. In terms of my in-progress screening, is there no delete button beside links? So you can just simply exit. If it's in brown and it's in your plan, just choose the X button and get rid of it and remove it from the other side. I said my question live, but I think I missed it. Where do I find my course list under as a concurrent? So you're going to go under the Faculty of Education as the department. You're going to go as an undergrad student. You're going to find out whether you're in an honors program, which is a 6-year concurrent program, whether you're in an accelerated, or whether you're in a 5 or 6-year program, which is a bachelor's. So you have to search the criteria. And when in doubt, if you're not sure where to find your program requirements, reach out to Student Central. Sorry, this may not be a question related to.
It's all right. I took care of the residence one.
Okay.
I was almost fast enough.
Awesome. Is there a class, if there's a class I want to take but it's not offered in Aurelia, how can I take it? So my advice is, and I suggested this to another student in the conversation, is that try to register for courses that are in and at the campus that you're studying at. Online and Zoom are fine, but if it's in person, you have to be on campus. So don't register for classes if they're not taking place at the campus you're situated at. Once we have our courses planned, is there a button to press instantly to register for all courses? Yes, you just choose register now. You'll get a button on the very top of your plan screen, and that will register you for everything. You don't have to go individually. You can just say register now. How do you request to take an additional course on top of the 5 FCE? So that's called a course overload. Normally students in first year aren't permitted to do a course overload just because we don't have any frame of reference about your progress. And it's not that we don't, we're underestimating your ability, but normally it's a 70% overall average and permission from your chair and dean. Might be an option for the winter term, but normally you have to go through a special permissions process. What is the registration date for graduate level students? I'm just going to double check that right here. I believe that graduate students are going to be able to register Wednesday, June 26th at midnight. That's Wednesday, June 26th at midnight. It says I need 11 FC for first and second year, and that's 5.5. So perhaps that may be, you might be taking more courses in your particular program than the 5 that's outlined. 5 is the typical. Some programs, as I said, like engineering, may have more. I did that. I'm concerned on my 10 to build first year on. So my advice is do 5 in the fall, 5 in the winter. If you do have concerns about what you've built, maybe register and then reach out to Student Central and we can review what you've registered for after the registration opens. How many courses per term do you take in a Bachelor of Science? You usually take 5 and 5. 5 and 5. So 5 in the fall, 5 in the winter. What exact impacts would you have by dropping? Oh, okay. So if you dropped courses after receiving OSAP, yes, that can definitely have some financial implications. Usually it results in something called an overpayment, which means they gave you more money than what should have been allowed based on what you told OSAP you were taking. You can be placed on academic probation, which sometimes can have effects with you receiving OSAP in the future. And most importantly, if you drop classes after receiving OSAP, your funding, any grant funding for those courses could be converted to a loan as a penalty that OSAP gives. So just be certain that what you're registered for after you get your OSAP is in fact what you're going to proceed with. For transitioning engineering students, third year, it shows that you need 11 courses for year 3. So you may have a lot of courses, especially with makeup courses. Be realistic, be honest with yourself. You may need to do some spring and summer to do some makeup. Talk to your chair. Reach out to your chair once the timetable, you've created your timetable to slot it in, but be easy. You are only human. You cannot, an 11 course load is probably not feasible. So spring, summer might be a way to make that up. It says I need 4 FCE classes. Could I take 2 half credits to make a full? Yeah, absolutely. So not 2 half credits. You would actually take 8 half credits to make up 4 full credits because 2 halves make up 1 full credit. Will makeup courses show in student planning? Yeah, they absolutely will show up in planning. I think Jack has given you a nice answer there. In a master's in mechanical engineering students, how many in total do I need per study? So that's a great question. Graduate students take a different course load. My advice is reach out to your graduate coordinator. They will have some good advice about how many classes to take. How do I know if I have too many courses registered? The system will not let you register for more than 5 full credits unless your program requires you to take more than 5 full credits. Does field school count as a course? Usually doesn't. It's normally part of your program requirements. Field school might start before classes start in September. So check with your program chair to make sure that you are registering appropriately and that you're ready for field school. How many credits should be fulfilled in a master's course studies, I would assume? Again, graduate coordinator would be the best person to reach out to. They will have some advice about how many classes to take. How do you register? Do you do the same registration for co-op work term? No, co-op and work term, normally you're just doing your co-op. You're not taking courses. So it's kind of a break. It does extend your program, but for major benefits. So keep that in mind. So we cannot see the calendar until we pick register. No, you can definitely see the academic calendar. It's there all year long. It's something you should familiarize yourself with. Check it out. Do you register first before doing the pre-reg? No, pre-registration planning is kind of like I say, the whiteboard or the chalkboard. It's essentially planning out your timetable so that you can ensure everything works before you actually register. So use it kind of as a way to play around to look what your schedule looks like. Once I register for my course compressed nursing for first year, should I choose fall, winter, or fall? So you're going to choose fall, winter, and winter courses. You're actually going to have full year courses, half credit. So you're going to register for all. Have a look at the nursing pre-registration guides for some advice about what classes to take, depending on what cohort you're studying, whether it's 3-year compressed or 4-year. How long are courses typically? So that's a great question. 3 hours per week for lecture time. So whether it's 3 times a week for an hour, 2 times a week for an hour and a half, or 1 time a week for 3 hours. As Jack had mentioned, you may have a lab or maybe a tutorial as part of your courses as a science student. So you'll have both lecture and lab, which can range anywhere from 1 to 3 hours additional to the lecture time. If you choose co-op, is there a co-op course we need to register for? Yes, normally it's like a placeholder for credit for your actual placement, but that won't come until usually 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year. How do I see on my makeup courses shown in student planning? So if you're an engineering student with makeup courses, it should have been on your second offer letter and it should have been outlined by the Faculty of Engineering. Any questions or doubts, you can always reach out to Student Central. Where can I find my pre-registration guide for nursing? If you, I'll type that in there because that's a very specific link. With 5 courses per term, is that only with full? It's actually a combination. So it could be 5 half credits in the fall, 5 half credits in the winter, whatever combination, but it's typically 5 courses in each term. I just want to give you
Wow.
that nursing link.
Yes. That was like speed round, Kristen. Oh my goodness. Wow. That was amazing. All right. Oh, and they're still coming. Okay.
Can engineering students take online courses in the summer? Depends on what the department is offering. We normally don't know what's offered in the spring, summer until March. Sometimes as early as February, and your chair might know. And it's normally based on student need. OSAP qualifications is for residents of Ontario. So you need to go through BC Student Aid if you are coming from BC.
Lightning round. I love it. Thank you so much, Kristen. That was amazing. All right. Well, now that we have a small break in, oh my goodness. Okay. They keep coming. But how about, sorry?
Well, I can answer these last 2 if you want.
Okay, go ahead. And then we're going to take a break from questions.
Sure, sounds good. Are there any rules that students on academic probation must follow? No, parents and guardians are not part of any kind of correspondence regarding your academics or your fees. So just to know just to let you all know that that's confidential and we have to have your permission in order to release any of that information to students. And academic standing, I'm sure Jack can talk to you a little bit about that. That's typically adjusted after your final marks are posted. And I believe they have been posted for our current students as of this week. How do I know what courses I need this summer for engineering bridging courses? So if you go to the engineering website, you'll see there's 6 courses. Normally, most students will take all 6. If your chair says you need only 4, follow those recommendations. Is there any staff in Student Central in charge of the nursing program that can help me with nursing registration? In Student Central, we help out all students in first year. We do have a fantastic advisor named Maggie Pudin who oversees all nursing students. But make sure you use that nursing guide, and it's a really helpful guide. It's pretty specific. I don't think you will steer away from what you need to take. It really is fairly explicit as to what to take. I'll put that in the link here. This is the nursing guide here, folks.
Thank you so much.
Kristen, all the links you've been sending are, I
Yeah, I'll
believe,
keep it
just
right.
hosts and panelists. You need to adjust it and send it to everyone.
I got it for you, Kristen. No big deal.
Okay.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so it is 20 after 7, which means that these two lovely people have been doing this for over an hour now, and I cannot thank you enough, Kristen and Jack, for your assistance, participation, and your guidance tonight. This has been fantastic. For those of you that are here and have joined us, thank you so much for coming. We really do appreciate it. Please use the inquiry form if you have specific questions about courses, programs, anything like that. We are happy to help you after tonight in that inquiry form. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. This will be uploaded to YouTube next week. If you type in Lakehead University Getting Ready into YouTube, you will find this webinar, which will include hopefully everything that you're going to need to get your registration started for Monday. So again, thank you everyone so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your efforts, and we cannot wait to see you in September. So in that, have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much, and please reach out if you need us. Thank you. See you.